Yikes. Hello everybody. I press that button every time to go live and my heart and tummy are a little bit fluttery because I'm never quite sure whether everything is working, but I'm hoping that it is, and I'm hoping that soon some of you will be online with me. Thank you for your patience. Many of you have been waiting for a live stream and have asked me some great astrological questions. And I'm absolutely thrilled to be here with you right now, on this new moon. New moon in Taurus today, new moon energy. And new moons are always about new beginnings. So I always try to make a point on a new moon to do something new, to do something different. What new thing have you done or will you do today? I like that. Somebody's going to be a millionaire Aquarian. Thank you. So somewhere in your chart you've got Taurus. You might not be a Taurus sun, but somewhere you've got the sign Taurus, and if you can find where that is in your chart, then that's going to tell you, thank you very, very much, Suvachala, thank you. It's going to tell you which life area you can revitalize at the time of this new moon in Taurus, and what new synchronicity might happen, because we've got Sun and Moon and Uranus in Taurus today. And for me it's happening in my 11th house, and the 11th house is like a social, it can be meeting new friends or a synchronistic meeting. And I walked on a tram today in Athens. I was just having a little walk and I was coming on my way back. And I walked on this tram and this lovely lady said, "Oh, hello, are you an astrologer?" And I said, "Well, I think I am, yes." And it turned out she was from Sweden. Lovely, lovely lady and her friend. And there you are, there we got chatting. It was synchronicity. New people that I'd not met before, who were lovely, who you wouldn't imagine meeting on a tram, you know, in the southern suburbs of Athens. So what new thing might you create or may happen for you today or tomorrow? The energies of the new moon do last for a day or two or three, so you can enjoy it. So, I've collated a lot of your important questions, the questions that keep coming up and coming up. And one of the questions I'm asked is about the monthly videos. Should I watch my sun sign, my ascendant, or my moon sign? Now, ideally, if you know all three of them, it'd be good to watch all three and take the bits of each that resonate the most with you. Yeah? You can discard the rest, it's nice. You can pick and choose a little bit. So I would start out with your ascendant, because they are, the monthly readings are based upon what is known as solar chart, and it puts the sun in the first house. So if you watch your ascendant first, that is probably going to resonate the most, although not necessarily. Then watch your sun sign, and if you know it, watch your moon sign. Now, many of you asked some very complicated questions, like what about yods and intercepted signs and stelliums? Now, those I'm going to do separate videos on. And I am in the process of preparing some advanced course material, because I'm being asked all the time, What is it you're going to teach? I'd like to go more deeply into my astrology studies. Some of you are just beginning, and I've got my Learn Astrology 5 video set, and of course a lot of free videos that I put out on YouTube, which I love doing, because I love sharing with you just the vast potentials of astrology and what it can show you, not only about you and your life, but also about your soul, your soul's journey, your karmic influences, your patterns, your family influences, the kinds of lessons you are to learn during this lifetime. The cycle that you're under right now. Astrology can show maybe you're going through a dark night of the soul time. Astrology can show ways in which you might use that constructively and use it to your benefit, even though it might be painful and letting go, and certain big events may be happening in your life. It's also a wonderful opportunity for growth and for understanding the deeper meaning behind some of the things that you're experiencing in your external world. For example, like your relationship, maybe you're going through a relationship change, maybe you're going through a move of home, maybe your finances are fluctuating, maybe it's a job, a career situation that's causing you uncertainty. And all these things can be delved into with your astrological chart, and there is so much power in it. We come from the stars. We're a part of the stars and the heavens. So it's powerful. And then it also shows us the age that we're in, what we're moving into, politically, socially, economically. It's great. Thank you, Xanathar. A journey towards greater love and greater wisdom, using the astrology in a constructive way. Many people come to me who've been very frightened by astrology, who've been brought up maybe in a serious religious context that says that astrology is a sin. And yes, when it is used to disempower people, and it is used in a way that frightens people, I would agree. It is not supportive. It could be considered a sin. But it can be used in the most constructive way, which is the way that I try to use it at with every client I have, in every situation. That isn't to say to sugarcoat everything. Tell it as it is, but then let's give constructive ways to utilize these aspects. So many of you have asked, and some of you fearfully, because I'm not sure what's being put out there, is about this Saturn, Pluto, Jupiter conjunction that is coming up in 2020. So, it's happening in Capricorn, and somewhere in your chart, you'll have Capricorn. It's all happening at 22 degrees, which is a power degree. And many people are, I feel, maybe putting out a fear vibe around this aspect. It can bring up fears. Pluto will dig up all the things you might be afraid of and get you to look at them. Saturn may ask you to restructure. And Jupiter will just magnify everything that you're doing. So let me look at this first, this Jupiter, Saturn, Pluto energy, because it's unusual that these three come together. And when they come together in Capricorn, we're looking at how we use time, how we see time. Is time an illusion? How do we get out of time? And how do we use time in a constructive way? Because astrology is very time-based. We look at how the ancients used to look at how the planets affected humans, and they studied it in great detail. A lot of that information sadly was destroyed during various religious altercations. But coming back now to this Saturn, Pluto, Jupiter energy, how do you use it? Well, you use it to look at the way you structure your life, how you're planning things. Are you too rigid? Have you got to have a plan? And is that plan too rigid? Does it need to be more flexible? Or are you all over the place and not focused enough? Chances are that wherever that falls in your chart, you're going to have an opportunity for some deep transformation. Pluto always brings about transformation. Pluto and Saturn together can bring about lessons in letting go, in surrendering, in working with the depths of your soul, and then looking how you can bring your spirituality, your meaning, a deeper meaning into your everyday life. Because it's great to do things like go shopping and buy clothes and look nice and socialize and go out for meals and enjoy the physical world and have relationships and sexual contacts and social connections. Those are wonderful things. And there's also a deeper meaning to your life, which the Saturn, Pluto, Jupiter energy may well trigger within you, that you look for something more. You're searching for something more. On the wider level, it's about the structures of our governments. As you can see with Brexit, as you see in the United States with the political situation, as you see how volatile everything is. I mean, I only have to put something out about Donald Trump, which I won't, because I've learned my lesson and got my fingers burned, to get some awful vitriolic responses. So there's a lot of conflict out there between different opinions, different views. And there is a huge shift in humanity. And it is almost as if we're living in two worlds. Two different worlds. An old world, which is slow moving, very slow. I know many of you will empathize with this. It's like, oh God, are things ever going to move forward more quickly? And yes, we're going to get to the bottom maybe of what happened in Atlantis, what happened in Lemuria, what happened in past civilizations. Capricorn is very much about ancestry. I think that there's going to be more discovery around the human genome and how to put that to good use. Certain governments and structures may well come down at this time, and the opportunity for some rebuilding to take place. But in the meantime, there may be some feeling of a void. You may feel a void in your life. It's like, oh, what's happening? And to be able to have that and to allow all your emotions to come up so that something new can come through. So, I've been asked about retrograde planets in a natal chart. So the most important retrograde planets, there's loads of questions coming in. Thank you for your questions. I'm going to try and cover as many as I can today. The most important retrograde planets in a chart are Mercury, Venus, and Mars. If you've got outer planets that are retrograde, most of the population has got it with you. Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, Saturn, many people, 40–50% have that as well. But not so many have Mercury retro, natally. Not so many have Venus retro. What does it mean? Somebody's got Mercury retrograde. If someone's got Mercury retrograde, it's someone who thinks a little more, who's a little more cautious about communications. They're awfully good usually about writing. They usually got good writing ability. Venus retrograde can mean that you need to learn to love yourself. Yes, you need to learn what gives you pleasure, what you enjoy. Mars retrograde may mean that you're not sure what to put your energy into. Of course, there's a lot more to this, but I just want to touch on it, and for those of you who are more interested, you can always get my retrogrades videos on my website, yourastrologysigns.com. So, can astrology predict the future? Sorry, I'll come back to this other question. How do you know what your retrograde is? Thank you, Jessica. When you get a chart, when you get your chart, it should give you, and if you haven't got your chart yet, you can get it from my website. If you go under reports and go under free report, just enter in your date, time and place of birth, you can get a free mini reading as well as your report. So what you are looking for is this sign RX next to the planet, and then you will know that it is retrograde. Okay, so and it's always good when you're in a relationship with someone to know whether they've got Venus retrograde. Yes, this is going to be somebody who may find it hard to find their talents, their gifts, who might not trust a certain gift that they have, even though they love something. So, can astrology predict the future? Much as many astrologers would like to say yes, I would say to a limited degree, and certainly not giving you exact date, time, place, and exactly what's going to happen. That's more the job of a psychic. But what astrology can do is it can show you what the potentials are, what the likelihoods are. So if you're looking to sell your house and it's not selling, maybe there's a Saturn aspect that's showing that things are just going to be a little slow and you've got to be patient. Or maybe there's a Neptune aspect, and maybe you're a Neptune maybe with a Pluto aspect. Maybe you're hanging on emotionally to the house and you haven't let go of it. So astrology can give a wider picture. And yes, you always have free will to choose your response to situations. Astrology can show when it is a good time for you to meet someone, when the planets look as though they are more favorable for you. But you can have the best aspects in the world for meeting somebody, and unless you're open to it and maybe get yourself out and about there, probably not going to happen. So you have to work with what is there. But I like using astrology on a very deep level, not only the superficial level where we can look at your finances, your career, your relationships. I love looking at relationships because there's so much richness in the astrology of what we're drawn to in another person and why. And the astrology can really give you some wonderful answers about that, and also wonderful answers as to how to work with these patterns in the relationship, what you can learn, and clearing your karma, how to work with your karma. So always use it wherever you can in an empowering way. So many of you have asked, how can people who belong to the same sign, like maybe you're a Taurus or a Libra or this or that, how can you have the same characteristics? Well, the answer is that superficially, yes, you can. And there is certainly a soul path for each of the signs. Each sign has a soul calling, if you like, a deeper energy than Aries is, got to be first on the bus, first off the bus, likes to start things, doesn't like to finish things, all those kinds of things. You can generalize. But you can also go to the deeper soul level of astrology. And you can look at what Aries means on the deeper level. And on the deeper level, Aries is about finding your strength, your power. Being unafraid, being a warrior in your life. Yes, there are many, you can show the life archetype, if you like, of each sign. So Aries has this head energy, this head and moving forward, and this energy of inspiring through their movement forward others to move forward. It's also the finding of the self in relation to others. Oh, it's deep. It's deep and powerful stuff. And then the opposite sign, you always look at the opposites. So no matter what sign you are, if you're Aries, look at Libra as well. If you're Taurus, look at Scorpio. Gemini, Sag. Cancer, Capricorn. Leo, Aquarius. Virgo, Pisces. Always look at your opposite, because you're working with those energies for sure. And you will have people who trigger both of the energies. So Aries, Libra. Libra is about relationship, but understanding real relationship, not codependent relationship, not needy relationship, but balanced relationship. It's power. It's power. Woo! I love this. So, can astrology predict whether you be successful or fail? Somebody asked. Well, first of all, you'd have to define what you feel success is or failure is. And it's really up to you as to whether you're going to succeed or fail. What astrology can show you is your innate gifts, your innate talents, the areas that you're most likely to do well in and enjoy. That's where it can be of help. So we're looking as well at Uranus into Taurus. Many people have asked, how does it change our world? And since we've got this new moon in Taurus and Uranus in Taurus with the new moon, in my view, it's about opening to becoming multisensory. Taurus rules the senses. And I don't know about you, but I was brought up very much on focusing on knowing my world through these 5 senses. Seeing, hearing, tasting, touching, feeling. And what's coming awake now and coming alive now is a new kind of human, because we are now all connected. Every which way you look, when you begin to feel depressed maybe or sad, it's important to sense and intuit, is this my sadness? Or is this something that's going on in the world? Is this my sadness about Sri Lanka? Is this my sadness about the cyclone in India? The rockets in Gaza? What is it that you might be feeling? Because we are feeling one another on a wider level than we've ever done. And this is opening up our senses. And with Mother Earth, very much with Mother Earth. Tuning into Mother Earth and developing these other senses. There's the sense of animals. Tuning into animals. Some of you are really great with animals. I'm a little animal crazy. I say hello to every cat and dog I meet. And birds. But you sense an animal senses you. It's beyond seeing and hearing. There's a sense. We are here to awaken to being multidimensional and to awakening these other senses within us. I don't know if you identify with this, but we are now a global community. Uranus in Taurus is encouraging us to connect physically in new ways. How do we build our global community? Tangibly. How are we going to deal with money? Is it going to be cryptocurrencies? Is that going to work for everybody? Is it all digital? Are we going to have chips inside of us that work with healing the body, nanobots? I mean, these are all things that are coming. But we have a choice now, communally, collectively, how we tune into one another and what we decide to do with this Uranus in Taurus energy, which is very much about how we build homes, how we use the land, how we eat, how we feed each other, how we take care of our earth in that process. So this is a new beginning day with this new moon and Uranus in Taurus. What are you going to do that is new for you? Maybe it's something new with your diet. Maybe you're going to look at new foods. Maybe you're going to look at a different way in your finances. Maybe you're going to look at creating a big project that will help a lot of people to connect and to really treasure our Mother Earth. So, Uranus is the highest octave of learning, and Taurus is about learning how we use our senses, our voice. Taurus rules the throat and the voice. And yes, the female energy, balancing with the male energy. How you use words. You can say one word, someone can say to you, I love you. Somebody wrote that just now on the live chat. It just warmed my heart. Somebody can say just those 3 words to you, and you feel uplifted. What word, what are you going to say to somebody today that's uplifting? What can you say to yourself that's uplifting? And sincere. Taurus is sincere, real, down to earth. Taurus is about getting down to earth, getting down to business. So, I'm ready for a couple of questions. If you've got any questions, what I am going to do is I'll take a little break. I will talk about Chiron, by the way. Chiron is going to come into the play. I am going to be doing a seminar, workshop about the coming decade at the end of October in Greece. So I hope that some of you will join me in person, and others you will be on live stream with me. because I think this is a real power decade coming up. And I love you guys. Thank you for being online with me. Thank you for taking the time to tune in. Isn't it wonderful that we have this opportunity? How can you know your birth time if you don't know it? Well, the most reliable way is through having your chart rectified. It's a long and laborious process, takes at least 5 to 6 hours, but it can be done. You could have somebody use a pendulum and maybe find it for you. Maybe a psychic could do it. But astrologically, that's the most reliable way of doing it. Love has no borders, exactly. Thank you. So Taurus is very much bringing your Uranus in Taurus, bringing those wonderful ideas that you have, the dreams that you have, and making them real, making them physical. How are you going to fund that project that you've got in mind? What are you going to do with it? So we are all connected. How are you going to awaken those senses? Your sense of intuition. How are you going to tune up your sense of intuition? When it's time to go somewhere, when it's not time. Maybe you need to cancel a trip or cancel an appointment and not feel guilty about it. And just know that it's right for both parties. Maybe you've just walked on a bus or a train and it just doesn't feel right. Something doesn't feel right. Remember that you feel things from behind you as well, not only in the front. We've been very trained to look forwards, but you can feel from behind. And I can tell you that the channeling comes very much from behind rather than the front. Especially in the beginning when I was surrendering to channeling, it came through at the back of my neck. It still does largely, because that's where you can release more. So, I'm being asked again, this is obviously an important question, what's more important, sun or ascendant? Both are important. One may be more important at a different time in your life, but they are both extremely important. And the rulers of your sun sign and your ascendant are both extremely important. So, the Saturn-Pluto energies for Capricorn, Cancer people, all the cardinal signs, they are powerful for all signs. I'm seeing it in all the personal readings I'm doing. I'm seeing that they are affecting us all on a very deep level. It just depends which houses are being affected in your chart. So, there's always so much to share. And I just want to really say to you all, thank you for being with me today. I feel you with me. I really feel it. I don't feel I'm sitting here in a room on my own in Athens at night time, at 10 to 10 at night. I don't feel that. I don't feel at all alone. You're never alone. I also think Uranus in Taurus energy is going to be very much, we are going to make much more contact with extraterrestrials. The ETs and the connection with the unseen is going to become more physical. And we're going to have to feel it and trust it. Thank you for asking for the peas. I'm going to take a short break, have a glass of water, and I'll come up with the peas. So I'm going to ask you for your questions for the peas. If you've got questions, please go to my community page on YouTube and ask your questions. Otherwise, I'll just bring them in anyway, because it seems that they do want to talk with you in about 15-20 minutes time, something like that. So thank you very much for being with me today. It's a joy, it's an honour, and I'm sending you much love. Bye for now.